Okay, good afternoon to all of you. I hope all of you are doing well and I am audible to you. So, let's start with the laboratory that we had ended in the last week uh, with the configurations of the DOS commands. Wait a minute, let me check whether any messages are there or not. Okay, so in the last day I was discussing about the DOS commands, the network commands that we can use in our DOS mode or the disk operating mode, that were the earlier computer ways which was introduced by Microsoft, and still at the base level those commands work till now. So we had covered some of the commands like the ping, then tracert or trace route, then path ping, which was basically for finding out what are the different nodes that we can map when we are trying to access to a particular location or a particular web address. And then I am coming to the assignment part later, but let me just complete this one, then I can talk to you about the assignment naming part. So then ipconfig and then get map. If I can remember correctly, then we were discussing about the get map, and then ns lookup or the name server lookup. So we were asking about the server address or the IP address of the domain name server nearest to us. If we want to find out, then we will be using the ns lookup command for finding out the domain name. So let me just reiterate some of the things that we had not talked about in ns lookup. So you can see our default server is CCTV. That means the LAN I am connected to has a naming of CCTV, and its DNS or the domain name server's address, primary address of the host is 11.0.0.1. Okay, so that's the server address nearest to me or the router address nearest to me. That's the way I am actually tracing the server lookup nearest to me. It's not showing me every server that I am connected to, but my computer is connected to a switch, and that switch is connected to the server, to a router. More specifically, that router is named after CCTV. Okay. Now, those who are asking about the assignments, those who want to submit the assignment, in your attendance sheet you will find out that there is an option for uploading your assignment, and the naming format for the assignment is clearly given at the upload area. The page where the upload button is there, before, above that you will find out an example based name format that is given. If I can remember correctly, the name format is the enrollment number underscore the date of submission, that means today's date, and then underscore your section. You do not need to write section 3B or 4B or 3C or 3D, something like that, but simple B or C or D or something like that, whatever section you belong to, and then underscore your class roll number. So 4 parameters should be there in your naming. One is the enrollment number, one is underscore, then the date of submission, then underscore your section, underscore your class roll number. So these 4 must be there in your PDF, and I have kept a 10 megabyte default standard limit for your PDF upload, and the file that can be uploaded must be PDF only. So there is no provision for Word document uploading or any other type of document updation or uploading. You can only upload PDF files. So you better prepare your PDF files, name it properly for a for an understanding the what should be the name. Please look at the Google form that's written in the lower part of your Google form itself of the attendance sheet. So then another network tool which is called as the netstat, as the name itself suggests, it's for network statistics. That means it's a standard view of the network that I am connected to. So net stat, again the same thing, that it's showing that I am connected to the CCTV network and its address is 11.0.0.1. So the server or the router IP address of my internet connection or my network connection or my LAN connection, that is available to me for viewing. So NS lookup and netstat, they are basically working like same, where in the NS lookup you can see that it's showing the default server is CCTV. Here it's written as server is CCTV. The only command difference is this default, writing of default. Okay, so that is another command that you can use to find out which server you are connected to. Next is the net sh or network shell. It's a command for networking that lets you view and configure pretty much every network character on your system in more detail and granularity than any one of the preceding commands. So net shell or the network shell is the command which can be used to find out what the network architecture and what are the individual devices that are connected to it. Okay. Now again, once I write down net sh, I get to see the same thing that is coming out is server is CCTV and address is 11.0.1. Why is that so? Why I am not getting everything like that's shown here? So there should be something like which should be coming net sh. So if you just try to find out what are the different commands that we can use. Sorry, my mistake. Okay, somehow it's not coming. Okay, so it's not showing, but there are certain amount of commands. Let me just zoom it fast. There are some different commands that can be associated with the net sh, but there is a catch. What the catch is? Catch is that when you are trying to view the network shell, that means your structure of your network or the devices that are connected to your computer, each and every computer in that particular network should be visible to you. That means no network should be hidden from one to another. Okay, if it is hidden, then that will not be visible to me because that's a hidden computer. But if it is shared as an workgroup computer through my computer's LAN and to his computer to any one of the other computers LAN, then only I can view all the computers that are connected to my computer. Okay. Whereas in our case, as I can see that all computers are not connected to that particular work group or the work group is not created. A work group is a similar type of computers you can deliberately create to transfer file from one computer to another computer. If a work group is not created, that means each individual computer works like a single identity device. So it will be working and it will be accessing the internet or the network in a normal mode, but that will not be visible from one of the other computers. Okay. Here you can see that when I was connected to Wi-Fi, this one shows that, okay, this one is not, this one. So net sh, these are the help commands or the different commands associated with the net sh. Then if I am connected to a LAN where all the computers are not a part of the work group, then I can only track the default server, no other computer. Okay. Next is another command which is called ARP or address resolution protocol or address resolution protocol abbreviated as ARP, which also displays and modifies the IP to physical address transition tables. Okay. ARP is another command. We are not going to see its detailed architecture because ARP requires your IP to be modified. You need to modify your IP, and I am not going to do that because that is a part of the system engineer. But ARP is also used to edit and modify different computer IPs that are connected to this particular LAN. So this ARP and NetSH is a very basic tool used by the network administrators for changing values or properties of different computers network configurations from a remote area, from a server configuration, from the server configuration. Then there is another one which is the finger command. Finger command is available also in Unix and Linux. So for now on I will be talking about the commands that are available in Linux as well as Unix if possible. So it allows the user to find some personal information. Okay, let me again see whether it works on DOS or not. So if INGER, it's showing unknown service. So let me just take another IP address 192.168.0.1, again showing unknown service. Then if INGER 10.0.0.1, so it's showing unknown service. That means all are not trackable. These are not trackable by the finger command itself. So finger command do not have the priority or to show me the information about an user that's hidden from us, because as I already told you that no other computer in my work area is a part of the work group which is public to me. Everyone is a very private network, everyone is a very private computer which is not shared in the public network. If our LAN connection, if we can take that as a public connection, that's why they are not showing their individual information. First press Ctrl C, who has told me, let me check. No, I do not need to escape from NetSH because NetSH is already okay. Control Z. So Control Z is also there, I know that, but Control C is for copy pasting, Control Z is for exiting from that. Okay, so finger, let's see whether it's working or not. Okay, so these are showing only the information that can be accessed by me. Okay, let me check another time. So it's only showing my desktop. As you can see, it's only showing my desktop, and all other connection refused. As I said, that connection refused because I am not a part of the public work group. Like correctly, Aditya has pointed out correctly that I was within the NetSH shell, so I was not able to apply the finger command properly. So thanks Aditya for sharing that information and showing me the correct way. But here also you can see, once I run the finger command with a default gateway address, it's showing me that I am using a desktop computer. It's the address used by my computer, own computer. So this showing that it's a desktop that I am trying to connect, but it's showing that the connection is refused because it's not a part of the public connection. Okay, so you can try for yourself whether you can get a specific answer or not, because that will depend on the network that you are connected, and depending on the network that you are connected, so Vodafone users will be getting the result differently, and Airtel users will be getting the information differently, and Jio users will be getting the different information. Broadband users will be getting different information. So that information is based on the network where you are connected to. You can try to have a look into the Google server itself if possible. Say finger, let me just see what it responds to. So again it's representing the same default desktop connection, and the connection is refused. That means it's not letting me to find out any user information from this computer itself. So it's not possible at this moment from my computer itself. Then the netview command. Netview is for finding out any computer which is connected to my Wait a minute, Rishiraj has asked me. Sir, in the assignment, apart from writing assignment number, experiment name and conclusion, what are the other topics should I include? You should include each one of the assignment. I mean, in one of the assignment, you need to include everything that I have taught in the last class. That means each individual commands with their definitions and their purposes, and one screenshot of what your computer is representing when you run that particular command. So this should be enough for you to submit your assignment. So for example, if you are using ping command or showing ping command, so ping is the command, its purpose or definition you need to write 2 or 3 lines or 4 lines. Then after that, in your computer, if you have done that ping command, what it's representing, that you need to show it to me. Okay. So let me just do it in a very quick way. So another command is netview, and the command will be netview then space IP address of that IP that you are trying to target. So then netview then 192.168.0.1. let me just give another. So here you can see netview is not working. Here you can see netview is not working in command prompt. It may be a part of may not be a part of, but you can try in Unix and see whether you can get to, rather let me just check. Okay, another with a space. Okay, then net, okay, space, you need to give space 192.168.0.1. Let's see what we are finding out. So it will take some time. Eventually, let us go directly to more commands. So there are another command which is called netsh or netshell, then wlan, then show profiles. If you are connected to wireless LAN, then you can get an idea of which are the network, which are the computers that are connected to your wireless LAN or the Wi-Fi, I mean wired LAN. Anyhow, it will work. It's for wireless LAN as well as wired LAN. So if you are connected to a network and you want to run this command, then netsh, then wired LAN or WLAN, then show profiles. Once you run this command, you will get an idea of which are the computers that are connected to your computer. So here it has shown that a server error 53 has occurred. The network path was not found. Let me check, see whether it can access google.com or not, and we will come back to this later once it executes. So netsh show WLAN show profiles, it shows all the computers that are connected. If you can view this, you can see that when I ran this program, so there are different, this is my mobile phone's Wi-Fi IP address, then this is the 3rd floor faculty room, the place where I belong. This is my phone, this is another phone, this is different network, this is different devices. These all are connected to the wireless LAN profiles. So, okay. So everyone is having wireless LAN in my area. In my area, everyone is using this wireless LAN of my area and in my LAN itself. So all the routers individual, these are all individual routers which are using Wi-Fi in my CCTV network configuration, right? So that means my room router, that is B3 3rd floor faculty room underscore 5G, this is coming from a router and this is a wireless LAN profile. My Redmi 9A is connected to the network. My Wi-Fi is connected to the network. Then there is another phone of mine which is connected to the network. There is register room, it has its own Wi-Fi connection. B3 3rd floor faculty room, this is a this is a 5G connection, this is 2.5G connection. This is a placement cell Wi-Fi router, this is a real BC2 which is connected, and so on. That means every phone or every device that has a Wi-Fi profile in it, that all can be accessed by netsh space WLAN space show profiles. That is a very unique command, you can see for yourself which are connected to your computer. and you can have an idea of what are the profiles that are connected, what are the computers that are connected in your profile itself. Okay, so you can see that. So there are additional comments. Let me just go back to the prompt where so network path is not found. So NetView is not properly working because it's a hidden network that we are using. So there are additional comments, which is network for controlling network connections, which is control net connections. This is ncpa.cpl. Any command which is associated with CPL, that defines it's related with the control panel. So ncpa opens the control and internet related network related wizard for control panel. Then this is network setup wizard opening. You can write it down directly and open the network setup wizard. This is net setup.cpl. These all are a part of the control panel property, and you can open those commands, or you can play those commands and open those values directly from the your DOS command itself. Now let us take a look at some of the Linux alternate commands, Linux alternative commands. Those who are using Linux machines, they can check for themselves what these commands are actually returning. The first one is IP, which is used for routing configurations. IP basically is the ifconfig and ipconfig in the Windows. So IP is equivalent to that ipconfig. This is one command. I cannot show you because I am not in a Linux command or Linux machine. So I am just going through this. This is another one which is called as the IP link. It's for configuring, adding and deleting network interfaces. If you can use your IP link to show command to display all network interfaces in the system, it's like ipconfig. One example of the IP link, it's showing that individual, as you can see, Linux is a very non-scripted language. This is a very haphazard way the outputs are represented. It's because it's an open source system. That's why you can see that when you write down IP link show, these are the values that are getting. So it's been taken from the internet itself. So I cannot assure that the way they are showing it, but these are the type of output that you will be getting. Okay, majority of the values are coming in hexadecimal mode, and the properties, whether it support broadcast or multiclass or upper or lower bands, these all are specified in this command. Then there is another one which is called the IP root. It's like a traceRT command or the traceRT command in the Windows. It shows the root that is connected to. Here you can see that when IP root show command is given, then it's connecting through a default gateway of 10.0.2.2 and its computer name is ENP0S3. And it has taken two different nodes. One is 10.0.0.0/24 and its computer name is this one, and these are all additional parameters that are written in Linux. And this is another node which is having a separate IP address. So Linux is a much more complicated if you consider about the IP or the networking part. So it shows every detail which is available to that particular node or not particular device, which is much more elaborate in comparison with the Windows itself. Then there is trace root, like the traceRT that we have used in Windows systems. It also shows all the hoppings, all the network hops that we take. As you can see here, that when we are routing the trace or tracing the route rather, it's showing all the individual hops that it has taken to reach the server from this particular computer. It's an example, as I am not saying that it's done by me, but it's a part of the example of this one which I have taken from the net itself. Then there is TCP dump. It's a packet sniffing tool that is a great help for resolving network issues. So it's basically for capturing individual data bytes and trying to get the information from it. So you can see that this each one of the individual lines, let me just take the pen. So this each individual line, this line it's not completed area yet, it's completing here. length is 108. So it's showing that it's a 108 bit length size, and this is the detail of the packet. Detail of the packet it has captured. There is another packet that it has captured. There is another packet that it has captured. There is another packet that it has captured. This is another packet. So 5 packets have been captured by this TCP dump command so far. 6 packets received by the filter, 0 packets dropped by the kernel. That means 0 loss is there. So whatever packet that is being transmitted, its detail is being given, or its detail is being connected by the TCP dump itself. For example, Linux is a much more robust in case of network connections. That's why majority of the people who try to hack other people's computer uses Kali Linux, because the power of the network commands used by the Linux are much more higher. So for example, if the first 2 lines are showing one packet's detail, the hacker can easily understand where the packet is heading towards, what is the length of the packet, from which the packet may get generated, for which application it is going to be. You just need to decode the values that are given in this particular sequence. That's why Linux is the preferred choice for the hackers when they try to hack any other machine. There is another one which is netstat. Netstat is for information, and the result shows like this. So you can see, for simplification, this is one Ethernet where it is connected. There is another Ethernet which is there. That means 2 different LAN connections are a part of this network from which this command has been executed. Then SS, it's for services, running services, seeing whether the it's for seeing which type of services are actually connected to the internet at this moment, and which services are taking and giving the data to each other at this particular moment. So we are not going to discuss that. You just need to write down those individual commands and the things that I have written here, because I am not using any Linux machine, so I cannot show you at this moment. SCP and SFTP, this is related to the network copy, file copy from one computer to the another computer. It's also another computer secure copy related networking command. So there is ifconfig. These are the examples that I have put here, and this is completing our slideshow here. Okay, so that's what we will be adding in our assignment 2, the Linux commands and the things or the commands that we have not done in the last day. So that will be part of the assignment number 2. Simultaneously, I will be going through assignment number 3. For understanding, let me just define what we will be learning today is, let's take another new slide. Okay, so what we will be learning is the client server configuration. I know many of you know what a client server configuration is. A client is an end terminal. So if you consider about a computer, let's say this one is our computer, a laptop. A client is the end machine which is connected to a switch itself. So this one is a switch, and n number of end terminals can be connected to a switch itself. We know that a switch can accommodate many number of terminals. A switch can accommodate a router can accommodate, or a hub can accommodate many terminals. So let's take this one to be a say a desktop machine where a keyboard is there and a CPU is there. Another computer is connected where a desktop is there and a CPU is there and your keyboard is there. So 4 different computers are connected to a switch, and that switch is connected to a server, right? SERVER. A server is what? A server is another end terminal where everyone can connect as per their own priorities, So clients are limited in power, so their powers are limited. Servers are the authorities. As you know, servers are the authorities. and switch is just a medium. So, switch is just a medium between the client and the server itself. So, it is for transmitting data from one end to the server or from server to one of the end. Okay. Now, if we consider about our college LANs architecture, you will find this is not a client server architecture. This is a what I can say, it is a open peer to peer connection where everyone is a server. There are two different types of networks that we can access or that we can have. That is, one is where all the computers, say these are all individual laptops. Let me just draw them first in a very rough mode. So, these are all computers. So, they all are connected through a server, a switch rather, let us say switch in a star connection mode, and there will be obviously other computers also in the other direction. So, I am not going to draw everyone. So, here all computers are connected and the priorities or the properties of individual computers are same. So, if it is having a priority of 1, it will also have a priority of 1, it will also have a priority of 1, it will also have a priority of 1. Every computer in a network is same, they have the same power, they have the same power, they have the same level of authorization. They are individually standalone computers connected to an internet network or in a local communication. Whereas, when you consider about a server client configuration, so there you can see for this one, each one is a client, each one is a server. For each computer, each one can be configured as a client, it can also act as a server. That means, no computer in this network is server. Actually, the concept of server is not lying within these computers. Server connection means that the clients will try to access the server for some execution purpose and the servers will grant those authorizations if the client is having proper authority. Okay, sorry. If the client is having proper authority. In a server, everything is stored, what I can say, centrally in the server itself. Whenever client does something, client stores the data in the server itself. The client simply sends the data to the server and server stores the data. And when client requires for it, server sends the data back to the client itself. Now, think about all the computers that use graphics design systems or the IT related management systems. Everywhere there is a central server. When there is a, say for example, if you consider about large computation areas like say CERN, if you have learned the name CERN in Switzerland, where a Large Hadron Collider was trying to replicate the creation of all the individual particles. Yes, Anindita, whatever you wanted to say, you can say. Okay. Okay. Aniruddha is here. Okay. So, a server basically is the centralized mechanism. As I said, there are two different types. So, let me just go back. I do not know whether any teacher like Sumit sir or SKG sir has told you or not. Our networks are of two types. One is end to end connection, or that means the peer to peer connection, Another one is a client server connection. Right. So, think about this one, a group of friends are there. For the second one also, for second configuration of also a group of friends of the same standard, like your CS third year. Say for example, there are two groups of friends, each one is having 15 members in them, right. So, for each one group decides to go for a picnic. So, they will be going for a picnic, and for that picnic they decided that each one will be contributed 100 rupees each. I know only in 100 rupees either you can get cigarettes or you can get some of the part of those liqueurs, but that much we will be asking at this moment for our example to be getting concluded. So, for the second group also, they also decides to go for a picnic, and they also decides that we will be having a contribution of 100 from each one to get the picnic to be executed. Okay. Now, for the first case, they decided that they will be their own masters. They will be their own masters means they will decide the menu, they will decide what the menu will be, and everyone will go on to the picnic spot on that particular day carrying 100 rupees. Okay. At this moment, when they reach, those 15% reach the picnic spot, everyone are equally powerful, right. Everyone has 100 rupee in their pocket. So, what they do, one person gives 100 rupee, another person gives 100 rupee, another person gives 100 rupee, and eventually the picnic gets completed. Okay. So, in the picnic day everyone contributes 100 rupee, no one contributes less, no one contributes more than 100 rupees. So, everyone completes. What it is justifying? It is justifying that everyone has same potential, everyone has same power, everyone is contributing same. But in the second group of picnic or second group of students who are trying to do the picnic, there is a teacher associated with this. A teacher with which those students take tuition to, that teacher decides that we will be having our picnic. So, the teacher plus 15 student of his, they decides that we will be having a picnic, and now the teacher is in the charge, because teacher obviously, because of some benefit, the teacher will be in the charge because of this hierarchy method. The teacher is in the charge. Teacher says that please bring 100 rupee from each one of you at the particular day. Okay. So, here they all were contributing 100 rupee each. Now, in this next case everyone is contributing 100, but they are contributing 100 rupee to the teacher itself. So, they are not contributing to themselves, but rather they are contributing to the teacher itself. Even though they are of same category, they are not in the same category of the teacher itself. So, I do not know whether teacher will be spending his own 100 rupee or he will be spending with that funding that has been generated by the student. If he is a good teacher, he will spend, or if he is a bad teacher, he will not spend. But the fact is that here the 100 rupees are being provided by the students, but till they cannot suppress the voice of the teacher. In that case, the teacher will be in the commanding mode, because teacher is much more hierarchical in comparison with the students itself. Okay. So, for two of the cases students are contributing, but the teacher plays the vital role in the next group. Another thing is that the teacher, if he is a teacher and he has some favorite students and he has some least favorite students, the teacher can say to the favorite students that okay, you contribute 75, and teacher says to the least favorite student that you contribute 125. So, there is a segregation that is defined by the teacher itself. The teacher can decide who will be contributing what, if the teacher has a power. If the teacher is not having any power, then he cannot decide. That is not the case why we are talking, but if the teacher decides that I will decide who will pay what, in that case the teacher can decide who will pay 75, who will pay 125, or who will pay 150, depending on the punishment or depending of any other wiling mechanism or any other type of way the teacher decides that people will be not contributing same because of the punishment or any other values. Okay. So, two systems, here everyone equally contributing, and everyone is deciding everything on their own, that I will spend 100 rupees, I will spend 100 rupees, I will spend 100, I will spend 100. So, that is being, everyone is very much happy with the thing that they are doing, but in this case everyone may be happy, may not be happy. Everyone, if someone is giving 75, he will be very happy. If someone is giving 150, he will be very less happy. We will say that okay, the teacher is using me to get more money from my side. Okay. So, the client server and the peer to peer connection is like this one. The peer to peer connection, no one is boss, everyone is equally placed in a system. So, our system, if this is a router and our all outside computers are like this, every system which is connected to the router itself, they have the same priority. Like if this X computer is trying to open say facebook.com, fb.com, he is trying to open Facebook, he will be able to open it, then all other computers will also be open Facebook from their computer itself. There is no separate specific allocation for a particular computer can be done, because everyone is paying same, and everyone has equal privileges. But for a server client configuration, let me just erase this part. But for a server client configuration, the things are different. So, for the server client configuration, server plays the bossing role, server is the boss itself. So, if this is connection 1, connection 2, connection 1, 3, 4, 5 and 6, then if X computer, if this is the server itself, the server can decide that X has higher privileges, X puts me with more oils, then I will give him authority to open Facebook. But Y is a very arrogant student, so Y is not capable of getting to access the Facebook through me. So, he can off the Y part, whether he will be able to access Facebook or not. The server can decide that whether Y will be having that privilege to access Facebook or not. And in a similar mode, individually, all individual nodes, all individual clients can be having different privileges based on the server configuration. So, server can decide which computer can access this, which computer cannot. Okay. Now, for a client related configuration, for a client related for a peer to peer configuration without the access, without the purpose of the server, this one belongs like a switch, it is not a server. So, they all are connected to the switch, and switch basically what it does, it basically connects them together with the higher connection, whereas the switch, anything that is passing through the individual computer, that gets passed through the higher area or to the outer network area through the switch itself. So, everyone can access anything. If one can access anything, all other computers can access anything. So, two basic differences between a normal peer to peer star network and a server client network. Then what is the advantage and what are the places where I will be using a normal peer to peer connection and a client server configuration? A normal peer to peer connection is used by in general the educational institutes or by means of normal local connections. A group of 10 or 15 computers are connected to a Wi-Fi connection, everyone can access everything that has been assigned to. Whereas a server connection, a client server connection is used by the authorities in different corporate industries. In different corporate industries, each employee will be provided with a client configuration of his own and with its own privileges. So, employee X come with a privilege, say So, he is a client X. So, client X is a low hierarchy person, let us say he is a very junior software developer, and client Y, in the client means the employee Y, I will be writing down that as an employee Y has a high priority because he is the team leader, and there is another client which is client Z in a organization who is having more higher priority because he is a manager. Okay. So, in a computer, in a system, if all the computers used by the client X, client Y and client Z, that all are connected to the server itself, every connection that they try to access, every connection that they do, everything that they do that passes through the server itself, then the server can assign low priority for the client X, server can access medium priority for client let us say Y, and server can provide high priority for client M. Whatever M requires, you give it. Whatever client Y requires, you do not give, but you try to give only some of the things. Whatever client X asks for, do not give at all. For example, with an example of my, I will be trying to discuss what is exactly that goes on in a client server network. Is that when you work for a software company or something like that, there are some different sites like say YouTube or like say Amazon Prime Video or like say Netflix. These all are basically restricted sites. So, you can open them, but not all the time. And remember, if you have a say a duty and you have done your part and you have opened your Netflix to relax for some time, say you had a 8 hours of duty and you have done your job or your part of your job, you have done that within 3 or 4 hours. So, you have got 3 or 4 hours you need to relax for. So, you decided that you want to open a Netflix movie and watch it. So, you opened that and it opened, and after some time say 3 or 4 hours you completed watching that movie, and you next day you get a call from your boss, or even next day you get a memo as an email from your boss that during these 3 hours you have accessed these sites. What is the purpose of that? So, because you are a very junior employee, because you are a junior employee of that particular organization, so server is monitoring that being a junior employee you have accessed that Netflix site for this amount of time, that is against the rule of the company. So, they have generated a query that why you have used that, you need to justify that, you have got a show cause notice. But instead, if the manager opens that Netflix and try to watch it for 4 hours, he may not get that query generated by the server itself because he has higher privileges. Okay. That is why client server is an integral part of any corporate organization where there is a centralized processing that is going on. If you consider about all the big corporate industries where there is a large amount of graphical processing that is going on, or there is a mathematical computation that is going on, everywhere the servers are playing the vital role, because our standalone machine cannot execute those complicated works, those complicated floating point operations, and for that reason server is capable of handling those. What happens is that in an organization, say there are gamers, the game development say members, say for example Sega or EA Sports or any other company, or let us say UBI Soft. So, when, or let us say Crisis, so when they are actually developing their game, every graphics development engineer is doing their the graphical work in their computer itself, but when they try to render that to give it to a final look, they need to access to the server, because now the server can do that particular task, because server has a very high capability in response to the execution, in response to the power of floating point operation calculation. Okay, that is the way the server client network work. So, instead of talking that much, let me just show it to you. We will be again going back to packet tracer today. We will be going back to packet tracer today to show you how a client server network works. So, I have already opened the packet tracer. You need to install that too. Yeah, I believe last year you have done that 2 or 3 different router or switch related configurations using packet tracer. I can still remember that I was a part of your CCFL, those labs were being taken in CCFL. So, we will be using the same packet tracer. What you need to do, you need to go to Cisco website. Let me just, so you can directly write down packet tracer install for Windows and install something like that. So, download and installation anywhere you can go, which is a legit site. Instead of going that, let me just download. So, this is the like any one of the link you can go, like computernetworkingnodes.com. Here is a link that you can get here from. So, this is a link that I can get for my 64-bit or 32-bit edition of computer, and I can download that. Once you download, you just need to have a login ID in the Cisco server. Once you log in, you get a diagram like this. Once you install it and you log in, you are getting a dialog like this, view like this one. So, these are called the PDUs or the protocol data units. I have talked about this one in the last day in the GATE class. These are the deletion and different commands, zoom commands, and these are your utility window where you can get all your devices. This is your utility window, and on the upper side you are getting those all view or edit related commands, everything there. Okay. So, for creating a server client, like I drawn you the server client configuration. For client server configuration, we need to have some number of computers. So, we will go to the first end devices area. See, please look at the display carefully. This I have not prepared any document for it. It is a real time view that I am giving. Everything that I will be doing will be in the real time process. So, later on please do not ask me for the PPT, because I have not prepared this PPT. It is a time consuming, each one screenshot I need to give. If I provide you with all the everything that you need to do, then it will not be a hands on activity, right. So, in the end device you need to take generic computers 1, say take another generic computer 2, another generic computer 3, take another 3 laptops, generic laptops 1, generic laptop 2 and generic laptop 3. So, our main purpose is to generate the client first, and we have generated the client. Okay. Now, after the client, what we need to do? We need to create a switch so that these all individual computers can be connected together. Okay. So, what we will be doing? We will be taking all the individual computers together and connect it via a switch. So, our switch, let us take this generic switch 2950 and place it in the middle. Okay. So, switch basically is a connector where it passes the data from one end to the other end. Okay. So, let us place it like this. And because we are going to use a server, so I need to use a server itself. So, generic server, it is a generic server that I am doing from the end devices, because server is also an end device. So, I take a generic server here and place it at the outside, okay, because server is another end terminal that I am placing there. Okay. So, first and foremost, because server is our main device, so I need to label it first, and I need to provide a IP address of that particular server. So, what I will be doing? I will be taking a label of that server so that I can remember which IP I have given that to server itself. So, when you click double click on the server 0, you get a label. This is the label where you can put the name like 192.168.say 1.254. or rather 250, or let's say 256, whatever it is. So I have created a class C address for the server. It's not a IP address that I have provided, but I have provided a label so that I can understand what the server connection or what is the IP of the server is from this diagram. Okay. Now we go to the connections part, which is represented by means of a lightning, and in the lightning tools window you can get an third, that is copper straight through cable, that I will be connecting. Okay. So I take that and I connect it to the server. When I left click it, it's showing me that you need to connect it to the fast Ethernet 0. That means it's a LAN port where I need to connect. So fast Ethernet 0 I have connected, and then the other end I will be connecting it to the switch. Now see this, what does this signify? It signifies that the switch, the generic switch 2950 that I have taken, it has 24 different number of ports. That means maximum I can connect 24 different devices together. So 24 different devices I can connect, out of which I will be connecting it to the first one 01. Once I connect this one will be omitted. From the next one 02 will be available, all other 23 ports will be available. So I take this one and your connection is ready. Okay. So what it's saying, that the server end connection green means it's a working connection, but at the end of switch it's showing an yellow, that means it's not been properly configured. In a similar way I will be labeling all the individual laptops and all the individual clients. Remember, this is the server and all other desktop and laptops, they all are individual clients. So I need to label them together within the same range of IP addresses, 100. So the first IP that I have given in this laptop is 192.168.1.100, and they are falling in the same range. Then the next one 192.168.1.101. Remember, this is not the IP address, but rather this is the labels that I am putting for my understanding what the IP address that I have given to this particular computer. So serially I will be providing with the 102, then 192.168.1.103, and then 192.168.1.104, then 192.168.1.105. So 5 different computers taken together. Now what do you need to do? Now this connection is now proper, that means switch has booted, and this switcher you can see that out of all the individual ports, the LAN 01, Ethernet 01 is up, all others are down. That means those have not been used. The link is up for only 0/1 Ethernet cable or Ethernet port. So if you can connect that, or if you can view this one, you can see that these are all the individual ports. These are all the individual ports. The RJ45 cable connection, these are all individual ports, out of which I have used port number 1 in the switch itself. Then I will be using those cables again to connect those individual computers to the switch itself. So I connect that with the fast Ethernet 0 to the next fast Ethernet switch that is available, 1. Then take another one, fast Ethernet 0 to the 3, then another one which is next Ethernet 0 to the switch 4, fast Ethernet 0, then to switch to 5, then again first Ethernet 0 to switch 6, and then the last one first Ethernet 0 to switch 7. Okay, so these all are being connected, so all are being booted, everyone is being booted. So you can see that those which ports are being booted and being on, they are all becoming up, they eventually will go to grid. At this moment I have not provided IP to any one of the network, say they all are using dynamic host controlling protocol or DHCP. These all connections are now working in a DHCP mode. That means they are automatically deciding what should be their IP addresses. You can see once you place your cursor over the any one of the device, you can see that the gateway, the DNS server, the line number, the IP address is not set. Here you can see clearly that IPv6 or IP address is not given. Everything is being managed by dynamic values. So what we need to do, we need to go to server again and to the config plane, and because it's connected through the fast Ethernet 0, so we will go there, and in the IP configuration you will find that it's written as static. If I can remember this one to be DHCP, then it will not require any IP to be given, so it will automatically create a, like it has created one IP address of its own, this one, but I will want to provide the IP address I have decided for it to use 168.1.254, or rather 256 I was using. Okay, then let me just 192.168.1.252, let's say. And now the subnet mask, because of the class C network, it has already been assigned. So 256 will not be there, 254 is the least. So let it take 254 and be like this one. So once we done with this one, we will close that. So let us change the label also to 254. So our go back to Ethernet and you will find that it's already stored, and the port status is on. That is a very important thing for you to note. It should remain on, otherwise the link will be off, and its statuses are it's 100 Mbps logical connection, 10 Mbps, then half duplex, full duplex, both are working. And because we are not using IPv6 configuration, so it's not given. Its local link address, that is the MAC address that is being provided with it, is this one. Okay, our server configuration is done. Then we need to assign the IP addresses to these computers. In the same way, we will be going towards the config section, and in the Ethernet 0 section, then to the static, and we will assign the IP addresses that we have written there. Corresponding subnet mask will be automatically assigned. So as 100 is given, then the second one its config, then 192.168.1.101 IP address is assigned. Then the third one static 192.168.1.102. And 92.168.1.102. See, when I say 102, it's saying that this address is already used in the network. That means because I have already previously given this ID to the previous computer, that's why it's showing that you need to allocate a separate IP address. I cannot give 168.1.102, I need to give 103. Done. Then every other computer, and 92.168.1.104, and this one 192.168.1.105. Complete. So this way I have given IP addresses to all the individual computer configurations. Now how to test whether the network is working? The green connection showing, it means that they all are working. Now I can use any computer to ping the other computer itself. So for that reason I need to go to any one of the laptop, and in the desktop part you will find there is a thing called command prompt. So I open that. This command prompt is opening on behalf of the PC from which I have logged in, means the logical computer. This particular computer is now running this command prompt. Okay, like normally I will be writing down the ping command and with the IP address of any other of the computer. So let's say I ping server, so 1.168.1.254, right? So I can ping the server itself, and when I am pinging I am getting a response like the normal server. If you can view this one, this is the ping that I am done to the server itself, and I am getting, and eventually I can ping any other computer that are available in this network. That means 103, let's say 103 I am pinging, and I am getting a ping network. So now this computer is basically pinging all the individual computers. That means this network is now connected, and it's not possible, only possible for this computer. I can run the ping command from any other of the desktops. So I can go to the 183, I am just using that from 103. So I write down ping.192.168.1.100, the first computer, and I am getting a reply. See, now we have created a virtual network of our own. So this network is capable of doing a client server configuration. So in the next day I will be showing you the client server configuration if possible. Let me just save that in the desktop with my name, so that from next day I can start with the 19th from this one. Okay. So thank you for joining. Please submit your assignment. The next class, please wait for 2 minutes. Subhalakshmi ma'am will be taking her part of the class. She will be doing some Python related experiments based on the modulation part. She will be showing you just 40 minutes of experiments, and that is a part of the thing that you have already studied but may have forgotten. So she will be covering that now. Okay, wait a minute, within 2 minutes she will be joining.
অন করে দাও।
অন তো আছে, অন চলছে।
Okay, good afternoon to you all. So I am not going to tell something new thing that is already known to you, the two modulation techniques, because those two are there also in the physical layer, and only I will not take too much of time, already it's 3:20. So in the last semester you have used this one, or you have implemented this one, but using the Octave software. So I like to tell you one thing, that without Octave also you can implement this amplitude and frequency modulation using your known software, that is using the Google Colab also you can just simply do it, and it will not take too much of time to discuss about this. Okay, Moinak, I will respond your query, please wait. So I will take 5 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes of time to discuss what for just to recap the few formulas. After that I will be directly going to the Google Colab for the implementation part. Okay, so I am writing. Okay, so see the formula what we have learned about the amplitude and frequency modulation. I will be starting with the amplitude modulation because the NB sir is too much exhausted today. So just wait for 1 second so I can start with it. Okay. So when I am dealing with this, I need to know that 2-3 formulas are there, that is already known to you. The modulation, amplitude modulation and frequency modulation, these two were used in the physical layer, and I told you earlier that modulating signal and carrier signal were the two things that were required for the modulation. Okay. And ultimately what we discussed in the last semester, that these two figures, the first one is the signal for the AM, okay, where the amplitude of the carrier was varying with respect to the message signal. Here the message is only a simple sine wave, whereas when you are dealing with the frequency modulation, the amplitude is constant and the frequency of the signal was varying in nature. Okay. So these two signals we knew. If you have any query, you can ping me in WhatsApp. So the thing is that I will be sending you the equation, or telling you the equation of AM. After that you can plot it in the using the Python code in Google Colab. Okay. So few formulas that you implement. So how to draw a waveform in Python or using Python? Do you know that? Yes or no? If you know, please respond. If you do not know, so then I am not going to repeat this one. Okay. So this is the message signal equation I have shown you in the last semester, and this message signal is simply a cos message. Okay. After that, this AM is the amplitude of the signal and FM is the frequency of the signal, right. The second one is the carrier signal, and this carrier signal is also having another amplitude that is denoted as AC, and the frequency of the carrier is denoted as FC. So after that we can think of that how we can write the equation of AM and how we can simply implement that one using one simple Python code. Okay. So we know that the equation of AM is denoted in this form, right. So you have this equation, that is a modified amplitude is written in this way into the carrier signal. So this is the carrier part that has been multiplied with the modified amplitude. Previously the amplitude of the carrier was AC. Now it is going to be added with the message signal. So this is now the modified amplitude of the signal. So this is the modified carrier. AM signal or ST is nothing but in suffix I am writing AM. So AM signal, this is the message signal I am writing just for, this is the carrier signal, and the last one is the AM signal. This is the equation. Now we need to plot this one using the Python code. The octave you have already done, but this is something new. Now the second thing, I can remodify the same equation in this way, like you can just take common AC and it will become 1 plus AM by AC cos of the same 2 pi FMT, or 2 pi FMT is, you can write it as omega m into cos 2 pi FCT. So this is the equation, and this is known as the modulation index. This is known as the modulation index of AM signal. Okay. So simply these two equations, either you plot these equations or plot this equation, either these two you can just modify it in this way. So plotting will be of three things. Plot 1 will be message, plot 2 and plot 3 will be the AM. The simple equation, three equations you need to plot. And this is denoted as mu. Mu is modulation index, it is nothing but AM by AC. So this is known to you, this is nothing new for you. So this is the typical octave code we used previously, but same thing we will be using in the MATLAB, in the Python. So the way figure wise three modulations that can come up. So this is the critical modulation. So critical modulation means when this mu value equal to 1, that is known as the critical modulation. I told you what is mu. Mu is nothing but AC AM by AC, and this is, if this value is 1, this is known as the critical modulation. Okay. If mu value is less than 1, then it will become the under modulation, and if this is mu value is more than 1, that will become the over modulation. So we prefer under modulation and critical modulation, we avoid. So generally in practical scenario we avoid over modulation. Okay. So this is the 2-3 things we will observe, that is message, carrier and one of the modulated signals. Okay. So let us come in the practical part. So we can use or we can write the code, but for writing this one I will be using one simple thing, that is the Python you have used previously in the AIML. So we need to import two Python libraries, one is the NumPy and another one is the matplotlib. So those two libraries are very important. So we will be implementing the code. Previously we have to just import the two typical libraries. Okay. So how we write this one, I hope it is visible to you. Okay. So I can write here, I can just simply run one simple how to plot, then we can do it. Okay. So you can write here NumPy as NP, we always write it like this way. Okay. And after that we are importing another thing, we will be this is used mainly for the plotting function. We will be plotting the message, carrier and all these things. So we will be using this one. Okay, matplotlib. So you may note it down why matplotlib is used. For sake of your understanding, you can note it down. For plotting this one, we will be using this. Now I am coming back to this equation once again, so it will be easier for you So what are the three equations? So what are the user values that you want to take? You must know that AM is the amplitude of the message and FM is the frequency of the message. That two things you have to take from the user end. Apart from AC is the amplitude of the carrier and FC is the amplitude of frequency of the carrier. Those two things also you have to take from the user end. So when you are taking the input from the user end, so how you write the code? You can can write AC is the amplitude and this amplitude can have a floating point value. Okay, so I can write in this way. It can be a float, it may not be always some integer value. So we always write like input command we write, okay, and you can write enter the same way we have used. Okay, so this is the amplitude of the carrier I am writing. Okay. Similarly, if I want to see the frequency, same way I can copy or directly you can write. So this can also be a floating type function and I am writing the input value. You can do hands on, okay. Okay. So these two values I am taking from there. Apart from this two, what are the two inputs? The amplitude of the message signal and so I am writing in form of AM and that can also be one floating point value. Of the message. Okay, and FM can be the frequency I hope there is no doubt till now. Okay. Now what is the next point? You need to plot any of the signal. Okay. So let's try to plot one signal, then we can modify the code. How we can modify the code? Let's see. So when you have plotted something, I just like to mention one thing. Just wait. So when you have plotted something, this is very important. So you are plotting the signal, message signal like this. So when you are plotting this one, the x axis is time, right, and the time value will be something like some 1 2 3 4, like some array you have to create some array. So how will you create one array here? So this is the way you can use one simple line space command to create the array. If you think about the octave command, we use t equal to 0 is to 0.01 is to 1. So this was the starting, this was the ending, and this was the incremental value that we used. But here we will be using another mode. We will be using in the Python mode, we will be using one line space, this one command we will be using, but we will be another way. NumPy, we cannot directly use the line space command. Before that we will be using the np dot, the way we always use, we will be using the np dot. So let's come to the coding part. So when I am plotting the time axis or t axis, this will create one array and it will be simply it will be, because np is here numpy, and np dot line space li not lin, it is here only, you can see here lin space, it is not line space. Okay, any array you can think of. I am taking one array, it will be starting, okay, the starting I am taking 0, okay, 0, then you can think of the another value. What can be the value? 0, then the ending value can be 1, and the how many points or how many breakpoints do you want to insert there? That may be 1000 or 500. That is, if you increase more number of points, that signal will be continuous. I told you in the last semester class, suppose I am taking 1000 or 5000 number of breakpoints. So this is the starting point, okay, it should not be the starting point of this array, ending point is 1, and in between 0 and 1 there will be 1000 number of points, okay. So this is the T array that is going to be created. Now the next point is that if I want to plot only the modulating signal or the message signal, I am writing the modulating signal like M, okay. After that I will be plotting all these things. Let's see how we are plotting one signal in Python. So here if I write M, or simply, so what is the message equation from this slide? You can see message equation will be AM into cos of 2 pi FMT. So what are the basically two functions we are using? Pi is a function and as well as cos is another function. So when we are using pi and cos, these two functions, okay. So you write it down, the line space command you writing down, the line space command will be starting, I am repeating once again, line space starting point, okay, second argument is the ending point, and third argument is number of breakpoints or number of intervals you are using. Now the second thing that I was talking about, the sine, cos, pi, whatever the functions you will be using, you can think of it's a sine wave also. So if it's a sine or cos, whatever is the functions, we always use all the sine or cos or pi from the numpy. So when we are writing the code, just come here, when we are writing the code, how we will be writing it? So AC is constant or AM is constant, that is the message signal, okay, into, we always write cos of something, but instead of cos we will be writing np.cos, because this is under the numpy, we are the cos function is there, okay, under the numpy we will be having the cos function, that's why we will be writing in this form cos of, then we will be having 2 star pi. Can we write pi? No, we cannot write pi because pi is another function that is within the numpy. So we will be writing np.pi. So if it is sine, cos or something pi, so that will be, instead of directly writing cos, we will be writing np.cos. If it is pi, we will be writing np.pi. The remaining thing will be as it is. So it will be 2.np.pi. Then fm we have already used, star t, right, the simple time. So this, the equation is over. Do you have any doubt? Now if I want to plot this one, I have to use some plotting command. I will come here later, okay. So now let's see, we will be writing all the 3 equations, so it will be easier for us. So if we think of the carrier signal, I can think of C is the carrier, we always use like this way, and the same way the AC is the amplitude, because we have taken AC here for the amplitude, and star also we will be using. Then NP dot, it will be NP dot okay, same way it will be NP dot 2 star pi, here also NP dot pi star, it will be FC star T, okay. So this is a simple carrier signal plotting. This is the equation. Previously in normal octave we have not used the concept of numpy and all these things, okay. And last is the modulating or modulated signal, amplitude modulated signal. I am writing the capital AM signal equal to, what was the equation? Let's see the equation from this. It will be just, this is message, so AC plus M, okay, this will be simply AC plus M, okay, then into cos this way. Okay, so let us see here. So in first bracket we can write down AC, it should be in small, plus M is the message signal we are using, and then that is going to be multiplied with what? The carrier cosine part. So it will be multiplied with cos, but we know that we cannot write cos directly, it will be np dot cos, right? It will be np dot cos, remaining part will be like 2 star np dot pi star fc, because it is a carrier star t. Okay. So this is a simple equation we are plotting. Now if I want to plot it, we know the concept of title, plot, x level, y level, subplot, all these concepts we used there also. So we will be using here also. So it is a simple AM equation. I am not using any modulation index. I have not incorporated the term of modulation index here. So when you are going to plot this one, you will be using the function, you will be subplot function and all these things. So you have to use this library PLT. So when PLT you are using dot of this function, what you are using, subplot function you are using, and how many plotting you are doing, you want to take suppose 3 plotting, so it will be 3 comma 1 comma 1, the way you have used, that is 3 rows will be there, 3 rows will be there, a single column, and within the first column you have to use, or you will be plotting the simple message signal. Okay. So this is the subplot part. So I can copy and paste the same thing here also 3 times. So if I write one thing, same thing will be repeated, but for 3 different scenario, for modulating signal, for carrier signal, and say thirdly for the AM signal. Okay. So the subplotting means which position you want to plot. So first position I want to plot the message signal, and what will be the title? Title you can write it later also, but I am writing here so that 3 things, the total title AM modulation will be at the top. Okay. So if I want to write it here, title of this, okay, within all these are we are writing within single quote. Okay, no need to write in simple title for 3 of the things. I am writing it here, and then you can plot the function. You have fixed the position, in which position you are going to plot. Now you are plotting the function of this modulating signal. So I am writing that PLT dot the function is plot, and then you will be using which function you are going to plot. The first function, suppose message signal I am going to plot, so I will be writing M, the message signal first, then what is the color of the line. Suppose you can write green, red, green, whatever the color. If I want to write, suppose the color I am writing it here G. Okay. So you can do it like this way for sake of your simplicity. Okay. And then the next is 2 leveling you have to do, one is the X level and Y level. Similarly you can do PLT dot Y level, BEL not BLE, don't make the mistake. Y level we know always is the amplitude, and X level is always is the okay, X level also we can write the signal. Okay. Time also we can write, or we can write the message for sake of our understanding. Simply we can write this one. After that So this is basically the subplot part. You can just, for sake of your understanding, is a plotting section. These three are the three signals. We have written the equation, and then I can rewrite this one. So you can also rewrite. So next time I will be subplotting the which portion I want to do the subplotting. It will be 3 1 2, 3 comma 1 comma 2. Then which title it's already there, so I am not writing the title. What I want to plot, I will be writing that one, plt dot plot. Then which plot I want to do, this is the carrier, and what is the color, you can change the color also. Suppose you want to make it red, okay, and then plt dot y level you can do. What is the x axis? X axis will be the simple carrier, but y axis we are writing amplitude same, okay. So three signals we are basically plotting, so all the things will be same. Which signal is this? This is C, means carrier we are plotting, okay. And the third one is basically the now you can search for the third one. Can you write the equation of the third one by yourself? What will be the equation of the third one? The plotting function you can do. Simply only the change the color. Okay. Many of you are doing. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So next will be same plt dot subplot. It will be 3 comma 3. Okay. Subplot. It will be 3 comma 3. 3 1 3. Okay. So what you are going to plot? You will be going to plot the AM signal. So you can write it here. Capital AM I have written, and the color you can change it to any color. I am writing it again red. You can change it to any color, okay. And I will be writing the Y level and X level. Y level I am thinking of always amplitude, and X level what, so below the figure it will show what is the below the figure, it is going to tell you what is going to be the title, right. So it is the within single quote. Now after this we can think of that how we can shape the signal. So 3 figures will come up, but after that we want to say that how the subplot function can be modified to frame all the 3 signals within the same frame. Okay. So can any of you please plot and tell me that how it is showing, whether it is correct or not? So when you are writing this one, you will be writing here, you can write plot, and within that plot, subplot can be another function, okay, and you are going to adjust the subplotting command, that is there will be 3 subplot and you need to adjust the spacing between the 3 subplots. So how we will be doing this? You can adjust, this is another function, you can adjust the subspacing or the spacing between the 3 subplot. You can search in the help and you can find out how many things are there, okay, and time is very short. So I hope that I can finish it off, otherwise in the next class I will be starting again from this, okay. You can change it to 1 or 0.5 or 2, whatever the spacing that you require, that is 3 subplot you want to do, and you will be using only the spacing in between as 1, okay. Next, the font size, if you want to change the font size, okay, these are all the functions that are available. Font size if you want to change, and the particular font size if you want to take, you can take it as 10 or 15 or 5, whatever you like. I have taken 15 for my understanding. You can also change this value if you want. So these are basically 2 functions that I used for this, okay. Now whatever the figure that you want to save, ultimately it is going to create one figure, and what is the main objective, you will be or you are allowed to get the reference of this current figures, okay. So you want to finally get one figure out of this plotting, that figure you want to save, right. So if I take one variable like fig, okay, and this particular fig variable, it is going to what can I say, get the current figure, get the current figure. So I will be using another function plt, and that is basically calling the function GCF. What is the full form of GCF? Get the current figure. So whatever is the current figure, that is going to be captured and saved in the function, that is a variable fig, okay. And if I want to set the size of the figure, I will be using another function. So fig is the variable and the figure size I want to specify, okay. So you can write it as fig dot, you are going to set the size. So set underscore size, okay, underscore inches. Specification you can change it also 6, 2, 10, 5, whatever you like. I am writing suppose 16, 9, whatever the variable, you can do it by yourself. So this is the thing, okay. This is the, so what I have done, 3 plotting I have done, that is 3 subplotting. The title I have done amplitude modulation, under that it will come the y axis for all the 3 subplotting will be amplitude, x of the 3 subplotting, the first one will be message because I have plotted the message, the second one will be the carrier, the leveling will be like that, only the x levelings are changing. Previously we have done the x leveling was time, but here also we can change it. Anyways, so this is the thing, then we have adjusted the subplotting spacing by using the H space, and then you have corrected the font size. You can resize it to 10 or 7 or whatever you like. After that you have used the figure the variable, and the figure, how will you get it? It is the get current figure. This full form of this function GCF is the get current figure. You got the figure. After that you are going to resize the figure in the form of inches 16,9. Then the resizing, after that you can save the figure. So if I write fig dot save fig, okay, you are going to save this with a particular name. What is the name? So .png file, it is going to be created, okay, and what is okay. So this is the thing we have used. Now do you have any query? So save fig is a function that is going to save the figure that you have obtained, and DPI is the dots per inch, okay. Dots per inch is the DPI. Okay. So if you run this, so I hope you have seen the subplotting, then font resizing, then you have saved the figure in the current figure form, you have resized and you have saved the figure in this form. It will be some PNG file with this specification, right. Now when you are giving for some amplitude, we know the amplitude, suppose 3 cases will be there. 3 cases will be there if you want to see that over, under and critical modulation. If the 2 amplitudes are same, then it will be critically modulated wave. If the amplitude of the message is less than the carrier, then it will be under modulated. If it is more than the carrier, it will be over modulated. So these 2-3 cases we can see. So let us see for one thing. The carrier amplitude is 5 and the frequency is suppose 50. The message amplitude is suppose 5. I am taking 2 same value, and it is suppose 10, right. So it is showing some error. LABLE I have given, so it is a wrong one. LABEL it should be, okay. LABEL, okay. Rerun this one once again. It should be LABEL, do not make any mistake. So 5 is the carrier amplitude, 50 is the carrier frequency, 5 is the message amplitude, and suppose 10 is the okay. 3 things came, but some problem is there. Yeah, one thing I did mistake, it is plots, okay, subplots. So adjustment, so multiple plots are there. Okay, 5, it is 100 or 50 I can take. Then 5 and this is suppose 10. Hopefully there should not be any error. Okay, now there is no error, right. So you can see this is the message signal, you can find it here, simply sine wave, and you have seen the title is here on the top, and x levels every time y level is amplitude and x level is the corresponding data, that is it is message, that is why it is message here. Next is the carrier here, it is a high frequency signal you can see, okay. And the third one is the amplitude modulated signal, and you can see here this two Vmax and Vmeans are touching, that is it is critically modulated because I have taken the message amplitude, sorry, carrier amplitude and message amplitude both are 5. So, it is a critically modulated signal that you have generated, okay. So, so if you have any doubt, you can run through this button. Google Colab is very simple, you need not to, I am also having Jupyter, but I am using from college, that is the classroom PC. So, it is very difficult because lots of people are using the same PC. So, it is very difficult. Still we have implemented or we have installed this packet tracer here, and hopefully you have understood, the thing, there is no issues I think. So, this is and the thing. So, if you want to change it, so if you rerun it for another set of signals, you can do it, that is for over modulated, for under modulated, that also you can do, okay. How will you do? If the carrier is suppose 5 amplitude, it is suppose you can take 100 or 50, whatever you like. If the amplitude of the message is less, that is going to be, that is AC by AM will be less than 1. So, this is AM and this is AC, the upper one is AC and this is AC. So, AM by AC, if I take 3, so AM by AC will be less than 1, okay, and this is as usual 10. Okay. So, it is going to create some gapping in between the Vmax and Vmin, let us see, okay. This is the gapping, it is not touching, okay. So, this is the way you can do it, right. This is for the yes, Aniruddha, you can ask. Graphs should come because I am also running the same code and it was not saved previously. Now I am doing, and I am just, you have seen that whatever the errors are coming, you need to debug. So take care of the errors that are coming, okay. Okay, yes, okay, thank you. So we have another meeting, it is already 4. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me in WhatsApp, and after 4:30 I can able to answer, okay. So thank you all. So I am just ending the session, okay.